Unclean leprosy, by United Hebrew Nation. White is a combination of all the colors of the spectrum. White is an achromatic color, since it has no hue. The impression of white light can be created by mixing appropriate intensities of the primary colors of light red, green and blue, a process called additive mixing, but the illumination provided by this technique has significant differences from that produced by incandescence. In nature, white results when transparent fibers, particles, or droplets are in a transparent matrix of a substantially different refractive index. Examples include classic, white, substances such as sugar, foam, pure sand or snow, cotton, clouds, and milk. Crystal boundaries and imperfections can also make otherwise transparent materials white, as in the milky quartz or the microcrystalline structure of a seashell. This is also true for artificial paints and pigments, where white results when finely divided transparent material of a higher. Typically paints contain calcium carbonate and / or synthetic rudol with no other pigments, if a white color is desired. A pigment is a material color absorption. This physical process differs from fluorescence, phosphorescence, and other forms of luminescence, in which the material itself emits light. Many materials selectively absorb certain wavelengths of light. Materials that humans have chosen and developed for use as pigments usually have special properties that must have a high tinting strength relative to the materials it colors. It must be stable in solid form at ambient temperatures. Human skin color can range from almost black, due to very high concentrations of the dark brown pigment melanin, to nearly colorless, appearing reddish-white due to the blood in the skin in different people. Skin color is determined by the amount and type of melanin pigment in the skin. Variation in skin color is largely due to genetic rather than environmental causes. As a general pattern, people with ancestors from tropical regions, hence greater sunlight exposure, have darker skin than people with ancestors from subtropical regions. This is far from how to survive at the equator by way of social adaptation. The same can be said of dark skin groups living at subtropical latitudes. Melanin comes in two types, pheomelanin, red, and eumelanin, very dark brown. Both amount and type are determined by 4 to 6 genes, which operate under incomplete dominance. One copy of each of those genes is inherited from each parent. Each gene comes in several alleles, resulting in a great variety of different skin tones. Hyperpigmentation is a common, usually harmless condition in which patches of skin become darker than the normal surrounding skin. This darkening occurs when an excess of melanin, the brown pigment that produces normal skin color, forms deposits in the skin. Hyperpigmentation can affect the skin color of people of any race. People with darker Asian, East Indian, Iranian or African skin tones are also more prone to hyperpigmentation, especially if they have excess sun exposure. Vitiligo, pronounced or leukoderma, is a chronic skin disease that causes loss of pigment, resulting in irregular pale patches of skin. The precise cause of vitiligo is complex and not fully understood. There is some evidence suggesting it is caused by a combination of autoimmune, genetic, and environmental factors. % and 2%. Half of people with vitiligo develop patches of depigmented skin appearing on extremities before their 20s. The patches may grow, shrink, or remain constant in size. Patches often occur symmetrically across both sides on the body. Occasionally small areas may repigment as they are recolonized by melanocytes. The location of vitiligo affected skin changes over time, with some patches repigmenting and others becoming affected. Vitiligo may also be caused by stress that affects the immune system, leading the body to react and start eliminating skin pigment. Vitiligo on the scalp may affect the color of the hair, though not always, leaving white patches or streaks. It will similarly affect facial and body hair. Now let's see what the Bible says about clean leprosy, sign that God gave Moses to give to the people. Exodus 4, 6-9, 6. And the Lord said furthermore unto him, Put now thine hand into your bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. 7. And he said, Put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom, and, behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. 8. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe thee, neither hear to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign. 9. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe also these two signs, neither hear unto your voice, that thou shalt take of the water of the river, and pour it upon the dry land, and the water which thou take out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land. Miriam spoke against Moses and was turned white as snow. Numbers 12, 1-2 and verses 9-12. 1. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses, because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. 2. And they said, Hath the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken also by us? and the Lord heard it. 9. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. 10. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. Aaron looked upon Miriam, and, behold, she was leprous. 11. And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. Flesh is half consumed when he come out of his mother's womb. Naaman was healed of his leprosy. 2 Kings 5, 1-4 and verses 7-10 and verse 14. 1. Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master unto Syria. He was also a mighty man in valor, but he was a leper. 2. And the Syrians had gone out by companies, and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel a little maid, and she waited on Naaman's wife. 3. And she sent Samaria, for he would recover him of his leprosy. 4. And one went in, and told his lord, saying, Thus and thus said the maid that is of the land of Israel. 7. And it came to pass, when the king of Israel had read the letter, that this man doth send unto me to recover a man of his leprosy. Wherefore consider, I pray you, and see how he seeketh a quarrel against me. 8. And it was so, when Elisha the man of God had heard that the king of Israel had rent thy clothes, let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. 9. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. 10. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. 14. Then went he down, and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. Gehazi was cursed with leprosy. 2 Kings 5:20-27-20. But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha the man of God, said, Behold, my messenger that which he brought, but as the Lord lives, I will run after him, and take somewhat of him. 21. So Gehazi followed after Naaman, and when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from the chariot to meet him, and said, Is all well? 22. And he said, All is well. My enemy from Mount Ephraim, 2 young men of the sons of the prophets, give them, I pray you, a talent of silver, and 2 changes of garments. 23. And Naaman said, Be content, take 2 talents with 2 changes of garments, and lay them upon 2 of his servants, and they bear them before him. 24. And when he came to the tower, he took them to the house, and he let the men go, and they departed. 25. But he went in, and stood before his master. And Elisha said unto him, Whence come you, Gehazi? And he said, Your servant went nowhere. 26. And he said unto him, Went not mine heart with thee, when the man turned again from his chariot to meet you? Is it a time to receive money, and to receive garments, and olive yards, and vineyards, and sheep, and oxen, and men servants, and maidservants? 27. The leprosy, therefore, of Naaman shall cleave unto you, and unseat forever. And he went out from his presence a leper as white as snow. A man was healed from his leprosy. Mark 1:36 and verses 41-43. 36. And saw the leper beseeching him, and kneeling down to him, and saying unto him, If you want, you can make me clean. 41. And Jesus, moved with compassion, put forth his hand, and touched him, and saith unto him, I will, be you clean. 42. And as soon as he had spoken, immediately the leprosy departed from him, and he was cleansed. 43. And he straightly charged him, and forthwith sent him away. The history of leprosy. Because of ancient references, going back to at least 1350 BCE in Egypt, leprosy is sometimes referred to as the oldest recorded disease, or the oldest known disease. In one form or another, leprosy appears to have stalked human beings for millennia, always causing those who suffer from it to be ostracized from their communities and encouraging the belief that sufferers are being punished by God. Leprosy in the Old Testament. In the Old Testament of the Bible, leprosy is frequently referred to as an ailment afflicting not just humans, but also houses and fabric. References to leprosy obviously aren't to what is known as leprosy today, but a variety of skin disorders as well as some type of mold or mildew, which might affect objects. Key to understanding leprosy in the Old Testament is that it's seen as a form of physical and spiritual pollution, which requires one to be excluded from the community. Leprosy in the New Testament. In the New Testament, leprosy is frequently the object of Jesus' healing miracles. Numerous people who are afflicted with leprosy are cured by Jesus, who at times may also forgive their sins. According to Matthew and Luke, Jesus also authorizes his disciples to heal leprosy in his name. We do hope you have gotten more understanding from the hearing of the word. This was another lesson brought to you by United Hebrew Nation.